Hello everybody, it's Philly Cuts with another Hump Day Haul. We are up to number 82 this April 6, 2016. You know, every week I get together with you on Wednesday, new comic book release day, and I talk to you guys about the stack of overpriced new comic books that I buy every week. And I always feel like I get robbed. And it's my own fault because I can't wait. I'm impatient. And Marvel, I love Marvel with the Star Wars books. That's pretty much what I've been buying. And we got a new Star Wars book with focus on a new Force Awakens character, Poe Dameron. And I hope you guys can see this well because I am recording just in natural lighting. I got home early today, so I was able to start early, and I hope that looks good. But Poe Dameron, you know, most of the books have focused, the Star Wars books have focused on the older characters, you know, your Chewbacca's, your Lando Calrissians, your Obi-Wans. But this is finally a new character, Poe Dameron. And now you may have felt that Finn and Rey may have taken the spotlight in Force Awakens, and Poe was kind of, you know, left lurking in the background a little bit. I'm excited to learn more about Poe, and I'm excited to read a Star Wars story about a new character and add to the lore, because these Marvel comics are supposed to serve as canon for the series and for the movie. It'll be exciting to read about Poe, and basically he's been recruited by Princess Leia Organa, or should we say General Organa, and I gotta say, Phil Noto has drawn both Poe. I mean, that looks just like Oscar Isaac, wouldn't you say? Even with that helmet on. They look just like the actor and the actress. Carrie Fisher looks pretty spot on. About the only thing I'm finding is I'm wishing that she had a Marlboro stuck in her mouth in every picture, because that's what Carrie Fisher's voice sounds like these days. It sounds like she's been smoking 2 packs of Marlboros for like 30 years since Star Wars. I mean, look at that. I mean, that pose right there is just yearning to have a Marlboro right between the fingers, don't you think? I'm totally thinking Marlboro. Anyway, she's sending Poe out on a mission with Black Squadron. This is the new squadron of X-Wing fighters. And they give you the names there. I didn't even know all these dudes. I don't know if I recognize any of them. I recognize the bearded guy. I think I remember him in Force Awakens. But they're on a mission to find this dude, Lor San Tekka. And if they find this dude, they'll be able to find the position of Luke Skywalker. And let me see if I can get you a picture of Lor San Tekka. Yeah. I don't know. He looks like a woman, to tell you the truth. But there he is. So that's the deal, folks. And this is going to be, I think, a 4-part series, a 4 or 5-part series. That's what they've all seemed to have been. And the format seems to work for me. I enjoy it. My only complaint, and there's a bit of a caveat with this, is that this issue came out at a $5 price point. And it's not even, like, super big or anything. I just feel it's totally exploitative. You know, the way that Marvel and DC do, you know how they do. There is like a bonus BB-8 story in here that just looks kind of goofy. I don't know, the artwork definitely looks like some sort of like Adult Swim kind of thing going on here. But it's like a BB-8 backstory. But you do get some goodies. Now, make sure you get these from your shop. I don't know how much they're going to have, but they are giving out Star Wars pins. So I was able to get a Poe Dameron pin, and then also a lithograph. And this is, you can hear it. It is pretty sturdy. And I think that this is one of the variant covers. Now, in true Marvel fashion, when a new Star Wars book comes out, there are usually a ton of variant covers. And I think that this one, Poe, even has like 8 to 10 different variant covers. So yes, it was an extra $1, but you did get a couple bonuses and a couple of goodies. Also, Marvel, oh my god, I don't know where it is. Marvel, yep, here it is. Marvel also gave out a big free preview guide featuring some typical issues of Marvel Comics, and then also a big preview for Civil War 2, which I don't think I'm going to have any part of. The other thing, Marvel, I didn't buy the new, Spider-Woman crossover thing with Spider-Woman, Spider-Gwen, Silk, because also issue number 1 of that was $5. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to spend, $10, and with your subscription discount, close to $10 for 2 issues of comics, even if they are a little bit oversized. No, just enough is enough. Stop exploiting. And I love Spider-Woman, so I'm going to trade weight on that whole thing and get it for online at half price. Okay? All right, now on to DC. We have Superman number 51. Now, the new 52 issues, for the ones that are this high, that are in the 50s, they're going to close out at issue 52. So there's going to be a whole bunch of 2-part stories coming out between the whole Rebirth event, and each of the comics are going to get a Rebirth one-shot, and then it's going to go right into, for many of the DC comics, many of the heavy hitters like Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Flash, etc. They are going to be released on a bi-monthly basis, so twice a month. Now, DC says they're going to be lowering the price point of those books $1. So it'll be $2.99 for most of them. But, we know how DC do. DC always comes up with a reason to jack the price up $1, sometimes even $2, Batman number 50. This is how this one starts. All the crap that Superman's been going through, he is dying, folks. And look at the artwork of Michael Janin. Phenomenal. And the good thing is he's doing the coloring and he's doing the artwork for the whole issue. Now, one of the big things that's been happening with Superman comics especially, but with most DC comics, is that they have like a team of artists on each book, and you have something like 4 or 5 dudes drawing a book, and it kind of loses its continuity. You get snapped out of the moment, But look at how awesome Superman looks. He looks a bit older. Kind of liking it. And look who that is, folks. That's Crypto in the Fortress of Solitude with Superman. This is going to be an 8-part story, and it's going to comprise the last 2 issues of Superman Action Comics, Batman Superman, and Superman Wonder Woman. So big story. I guess I'll be on board for it. It's going to wrap up a lot of loose ends in this universe, and it's going to set up the whole Rebirth event. There's some interesting things going on here. It kind of explains why this Superman is dying. He's been through a ton of shite, if you've been reading the book. And it gives a nice breakdown here in this sequence. The whole Vandal Savage kryptonite bath thing, I'm sure had something to do with it. And then there were some other things that Superman was going through in the other books. But there's also a little subplot in here that seems to be setting up for Gene Yang's upcoming Rebirth title, New Superman, which is going to feature an Asian Superman. There is some kind of woman here, Asian woman, that is on some sort of secret mission. And she needs to obtain a certain device in order to make things happen, I presume, possibly for this new Chinese Superman. So I'm looking forward to that. And then there's also another story going on here in Minnesota where an escaped convict, something happens, and voila, solar flare and all, proclaiming that he is Superman. So what is up? And another cool thing is that we get a little bit of Clark Kent action in here. If there's one thing about the new 52 Superman, what they did to Clark Kent, Superman, secret identity revealed, Clark Kent kind of thrown out the window, thrown to the wayside. So we get quite a bit of Clark Kent action in here that I'm looking forward to. And I hope that Tomasi and Janin stay on as a team in this book, because that'll be pretty sweet. I'm really digging the art. Now, on to Green Lantern number 51, another 2-part story. This is a variant cover by John Romita, And I guess he's doing all the variant covers this month. They all seem to look like this. The Superman one day, the Detective Comics one day. I don't know how you want to put it, man. Looks kind of cool there. We are introduced... Well, first of all, in Green Lantern, number 50 was pretty epic because it had Hal Jordan going up against Parallax. Now, Hal Jordan had the Chrono Gauntlet, but Parallax has something like the power of all the Green Lanterns all rolled into one. So all the sectors, or whatever you want to call it, of Green Lantern verse, he has that power. Hal had to dig in deep, man, and he basically became Will. He became a construct. And at the end of that issue, he could not change back. So he was kind of stuck. So holy shoot! What is going to happen to Hal? Here he is with his brother. You know, his brother is like, dude, what is going on? What happened to you? We are also introduced to some cool new peeps called the Gray Agents. And these guys are trying to become the intergalactic peace force that the Green Lanterns once were. Now, they've run into Virgo and Trapper, you know, Hal Jordan Renegade, his posse, his new crew. They've captured them. Not before they get into a big battle. And Hal Jordan has to come to the rescue. So, I'm going to be kind of sad to see, you know, Virgo and Trapper go. You know, Hal Jordan's new team, you know, minus the Green Lantern Corps. Because with Rebirth, it's all going to switch back. We all know that there's going to be a Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps title coming out. And then also another Green Lantern title, which I'm not completely sure what they're going to be doing with. I haven't looked into it yet. I apologize. But I guess it's going to kind of wrap up the whole saga of Renegade Green Lantern and his new posse with Virgo and Trapper. And I did kind of... form an attachment to those two guys, and it's nice to see them back, even though they've been absent for quite a while. All right, number 51, another two-parter, Detective Comics. I don't think that they got the memo here that Batman is back, Bruce Wayne is back as Batman, because this is another story with Commissioner Gordon as Batman. He gets a call from one of his old Marine buddies. There's some kind of weird thing going on the base over in the desert. I'm not exactly sure where. Afghanistan, of course. Afghanistan or Iraq, right? Nope, it says Afghanistan. They call up Mr. Gordon, and he makes a beeline over to Afghanistan with his bat suit to help solve this mystery. And this is another title written by Tomasi. Artwork by Passerin. He's done a lot of work for Detective Comics. And there's a lot of stuff in here, and this looks like it's going to be a pretty fruitful read. After whole New 52 business ends, Detective Comics is going to basically become like a Batman team book. You know, with like Batgirl and I think Batwoman and the new Robin and stuff. So that'll be pretty interesting. But the artwork in here is pretty sick. I don't know, though. I don't know if I'm going to be on board for a Batman team book. I really kind of enjoyed Detective Comics. I always thought that Detective Comics was kind of like the more grittier of the two. And I quite enjoyed it. So I guess we'll have to see, man. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do on that. Okay. DC Swamp Thing, and you want to talk about some awesome artwork. Kelly Jones, man, just hits the nail in this series, dude. The way that he draws the Swamp Thing, the shadowing, the dark gloominess of it, even though that's like a sunrise or a sunset. He just looks, the Swamp Thing just looks nasty, man, and his face, you know, shifts because he's kind of like ever growing, and when he gets messed up he's able to regenerate himself, and it just kind of has like a feel of like a 70s book. And Len Wein is the writer. He's one of the original writers of the Swamp Thing, and it just kind of gives you kind of a creepy feeling. And the more you read this book, the more you kind of feel the struggle of the Swamp Thing. You know, he's losing a lot of his humanity, and he's a monster. He's a creature. Now, vegans rejoice. There is a sequence in this book where Swamp Thing sees a poacher. They're on, like, federally protected land or something, state protected land, and as you can see in the middle there's a hunter with a dead deer, and this tweaks Swamp Thing out, man. He gets all vegan gains and stuff on this hunter, man, and he totally freaks out, and look at what he does to this hunter, man, okay? Hunter tries to protect himself. No way, dude. Entrails ripped, torn apart, man. I mean, is that what vegans want to do? Nah, I'm just kidding. I know vegans. I know a lot of nice vegans that are pretty cool, that aren't so confrontational and combative, and they're even friends with me, man. And I do eat burgers and pizza, as you can tell, but pretty cool. Sticking with Swamp Thing, but that is going to be a casualty of New 52, because that's only going to be a very short 6-part, 6-issue series with no plans to have Swamp Thing in the Rebirth. All right, now on to DC. I had no Image Comics this week. No Image Comics. I don't know what's going on with this series, man. It's going to be 17 parts. Now, it looks like they're releasing the Predator one first in sequence. It's not going to be like Fire and Stone, which was also 17 parts and took place over Predator, Aliens versus Predator, and Prometheus. Those 4 titles are going to be involved in this series, but it looks like that they're doing this a different way, and are just going to do it by title in sequence, or so that's how it's panning out right now, because it's 2 months in, and only Predator #1 and now Predator #2 has been released. In Fire and Stone, it was on like a rotation, you know, so like 1 week you would get like Predator #1, the next week you would get, you know, Aliens #1, then Aliens, Predator #1. You get the idea. Dan Abnett is going to be writing this whole series, and then there's going to be different artists, I think probably for each of the 4 titles. Brian Albert Thies is doing a great job here. This is pretty much Colonial Marines go down to a planet named Tartus. They're there for the interests of the evil corporation Wieland Yutani, which has claims on this planet. Tartus means, I think it's like a Roman word or a Greek word for a place where they judge your soul. So if that's not ominous enough of what's going to go down in here. Hey, the last issue, these Colonial Marines got whooped by the Predator. They only showed a couple of them, but these Predators were just ripping these dudes apart. Here they are. It's a very jungle-like setting, which we know that the Predators love that type stuff. There's the Colonial Marines. There's also another prize involved in here, this strange spacecraft, and I'm just going to kind of show you the first panel. It's much bigger than that, folks. So we got to figure out, what is this spacecraft? What does it have to do? I have a feeling it has something to do with probably the engineers and Prometheus. So, pretty straightforward tale so far. That's pretty much what's been happening to the Colonial Marines, peeps. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. I don't know if I'm going to be on board yet for the whole thing. This might be the make it or break it issue. I might just trade wait it out and get the nice big omnibus like that came out for Fire and Stone. I mean, it will be way, way down the line, especially if they do this just an issue a month for 17 months. I mean, we're talking, yeah, like a year and a half. I don't know. Maybe they're going to change up the format. If anyone out there knows anything about that, please let me know. But like I said, Dan Abnett is doing the art, or the writing. He's a tremendous writer, folks, and he's on Aquaman right now, too, and that has just elevated the stock of Aquaman so much. I know Dan Abnett just from the Wild's End series, which I enjoyed immensely. If you want to check that out, that's out of Boom Comics. If you're into anthropomorphic animals, dude, pick it up. All right, 2 Mignolaverse titles in 1 month that are not specifically Hellboy or BPRD related. First, we have Baltimore Empty Graves. Now, I'm probably going to have to do a brush up on this because this takes off after the last Baltimore, which involved the Cult of the Red King. Now, as you see, Lord Baltimore is standing in front of these graves. These are his fallen comrades that perished to the Cult of the Red King in the last series. Now, the big thing about Baltimore, what was expanded upon in the last series, was that he came to rely more on his team. You know, he always kind of went at these vampires. His family was killed by vampires, and ever since then he's become this vampire hunter. It takes place in like World War I. But he really learned to rely on a team. There's a back picture of Lord Baltimore. As you can see, he's got a peg leg. He's been through the you-know-what, folks. Look at him here. He is just worn out. He's tired. Now, apparently, there are some followers of the Red King that are still alive. And I guess that they are going to be doing something with the bodies of Baltimore's fallen comrades. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Just some nasty, creepy stuff in this book. Dave Stewart doing the coloring. Christopher Golden doing the artwork. So again, you have like a rock solid, Peter Berting doing the artwork, Christopher Golden doing the story. Again, you have a rock solid team, Mignolaverse team on this book, and it's always a treat when Baltimore comes out. Now, the other cool thing in this book, too, is that you get a backstory to one of Lord Baltimore's teammates, Hashish. No, not Hashish. Holy cow. Whew. Jesus. Not Hashish. Harish. He's an Indian from India. His tour guide. And it gives a great backstory of something that he encountered that really changed his life. And it looks like it ran into some kind of village where there was some sort of event, some sort of creatures going on here. So I can't wait to read this. Look, man, if you're looking to hop on Mignolaverse, do it now, man. Pick up one of these 2 titles. I'm going to be going over Lobster Johnson in just a second. You will not be disappointed, man. It is just such a great book. And I know I've been saying it for months and months, but I got to start doing a series just on Mignolaverse books. I really do. I've just been so crazy with work and everything. It's tough. It's tough, but I can hear the world's smallest violin playing in your head for me, right? Okay, anyway, Lobster Johnson, The Forgotten Man. Now, if you want something that's very pulpy and, classic detective stuff, Lobster Johnson is your man. Now, some sort of transient goes missing here. And it turns out that there's some sort of connection to an evil priest who may be doing things other than holy. Go figure. What is this priest up to? What is he doing? And it takes Mr. Lobster Johnson down into the sewers, people. And it looks like there's a lot of crazy stuff and people going on down there. I don't know what's happening, man. It's people running for the soup kitchen or something. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Now, this is a one-shot story, which is cool. The last Lobster Johnson story that came out was a one-shot. And you guys know my feelings, that who have been watching me. I think that there should be more one-shots in comics, man. I just think that these long-ass story formats can just be trying. And let's be honest, man. You forget a lot of stuff. I know for me, from book to book, I forget a ton of stuff. I don't know about you. But I almost have to put my reading on a rotation. So a lot of these books, even though I'm buying them now, I'm not going to read them for like 3.5 weeks because I want to remember what was happening from one issue to the next, you know? If I read these tonight and then wait 30 days, I'm not going to remember too much. Now, there's Lobster Johnson right there, peeps. He is a mysterious dude. Mignola, John Arcudi. Excellent, excellent writer. Peter Snydberg. And Dave Stewart, as always. Dave Stewart pretty much has the Magnolaverse on lockdown with coloring. Look at this, dude. Look at how awesome that is. I can't wait to dip into this. I can't wait to see how Lobster Johnson gets out of this. And I can't wait to see what this killer priest has been up to. Alright, dudes, let's pick a cover of the week, and then I'm out, man. I am out, people. Cover of the week's pretty tough, man. I don't know, dude. I'm kind of feeling either Superman or Green Lantern, that variant cover. I'm going to go with Superman, dude. Because Janen's artwork is just tremendous, and he did the cover in this book as well. I mean, look at him, dude. He looks a little younger there. I know he said he looked older, but Superman's on the way up, dude. I'm telling you, it's on the way up. Even though the movie wasn't the greatest, Batman, Superman, but the comic is getting a lot better, man. It's good to see Superman return to form, even though they do say he's dying. Alright, dudes, let me know what you're liking, what you're disliking. Please leave some comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you're up to, what you're buying, what you're liking, what you're disliking. And I know that I'm a bit behind in answering comments from my last two shows, whatever you want to call it. I'm working on it. I'm going to answer those comments. Alright, guys. Have a great week. Peace. Bye.